Hey everybody, welcome. It is week 3 of the spring semester in 2025. We are almost to the end of January. It seems like a very long month, so maybe you guys are feeling it as well. I don't know, but I am feeling like it should be May already. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the course as usual. We are in the 3rd week, so you guys have recently turned in your experience and interest inventories. So look for grades on those and feedback as it comes in. And we'll talk about what's due this week, looking at the calendar. So in week 3, you have a couple of assignments. One is a discussion board, which I see some people have already posted on, which is awesome. And then the professional writing portfolio. So a lot of people mentioned the professional writing portfolio when we were doing the startup scavenger hunt, as far as some were excited about it, some were not excited about it. But it really is an important, for me, it's one of the more important assignments that we do, because in the modern era of everything being done via computer, we oftentimes forget some of the um, long-standing rules and regulations about things like writing a professional letter, a business letter, for example. And even though we often do those things now electronically rather than printing out, say, a cover letter to go with your resume or whatever, and mailing it to a place, the rules themselves really have not changed. And so if you are not meeting professional expectations of that kind of communication, oftentimes your message, even if it's the greatest message ever, may fall by the wayside. So it's one of the reasons why we do this assignment, and why I think it's an important one. You've already created now, if you turned in the experience and interest inventory, you have turned in an assignment that was a portfolio style thing, which is any document that contains more than one element. So this week is your first official titled portfolio, but a lot of the assignments, excuse me, that we do in English 2210 are that kind of assignment where multiple things are being submitted at one time using the same document. Even when we get to the formal analytical report, which is all one big piece, there's still elements that are contained within it that may have been turned in separately as part of the technical writing pieces, et cetera, et cetera. So learning to compile things in a report style is one of the biggest pieces of this particular class. So let's take a look at the modules and dig into a little bit into what we are doing in week 3. So as usual, of course, the learning materials are here for you. You do want to make sure that you read and view anything that is in this list before trying to tackle the assignments, because they are going to help you. So we've got a reading from the textbook, couple of readings: ethical and legal obligations, collaborative and social media writing, and then various kinds of business writing. So make sure that you take a look at those sections of our online free textbook. I also do have a walkthrough on locating your feedback. When you do get your feedback from the experience and interest inventory, you do have an opportunity to revise that for some additional points. And so that's going to be important to know how to locate and utilize that feedback. There is a video about social media and professionalism, business letter basics, and workplace communication. So make sure you check out all of those links, and go through those before you tackle the assignments, as well, of course, as the video that you are currently watching, which is our weekly walkthrough video. Then we will be ready to tackle the assignments. So let's take a look at both of the assignments for this week. Social media in the professional world is our discussion board topic. And this just gives you a chance to basically to share your thoughts. I definitely want you to make sure that you focus on these questions. What social media platforms play an important role in our society and in your own life? Um, there, of course, there are a lot of debates over generations, and I'm Gen X, and we are all accused of being hooked on Facebook. And I suppose that's still true. I do still use it, but it's interesting how different generations seem to have different social media platforms that are more specific to them. So kind of an interesting question there. But you want to think about it not just in your own life, but in society as well. Maybe your friends use the same ones that you do, but maybe your parents use different ones, or maybe your workplace, for example, has a social media presence. There's all kinds of things we can talk about there. What impact can use of social media have on our personal lives and on our work lives? This is a big topic because a lot of people have gotten in trouble at work for things that were on their social media platforms. And some people say that's unfair. Other people say if you're going to put something out on the internet, you have to accept that there could be consequences. So lots of debate over that. Do you believe that employers should have access to the social media content for all of their employees? Why or why not? More and more people, workplaces are doing this. There are places that when you apply for a job and you come in for an interview, they will ask you to sign in to your social media. And again, a lot of people say that's not fair, but it's on the internet, so it's just it's kind of interesting. And then finally, do you believe that comments made on social media should be monitored and censored? Why or why not? And it's specifically talking about comments there. So address that aspect of social media. What you post is one thing, but what people might comment on it is another thing altogether. I know that for me, I try not to even read comments on most aspects of social media because I don't know, sometimes people can be, pickles. Anyway, so take a look at those. That's what you want to write about. Remember that when you're posting your own response to the discussion, you want to kind of form it in an essay format, and be as specific as you can, give examples where you can, and that will be awesome. All right. The next assignment then, of course, is a formal assignment, much like the experience and interest inventory. And this one is the professional writing portfolio. So in this single Word document, you are going to have an APA cover page. We are going to use a table of contents, and therefore we're going to use Word to give our work headings and subheadings. This is something we're going to continue to do throughout the class. So this is our first like real work at it, but so a little less pressure, but we want to get in good habits there. And then there are several required items. So what are you going to put in here? The first item after your table of contents is going to be a memo. And a memo is a very specific kind of workplace document. Now, I am inviting you to use your own current workplace. If you do not have a current job, of course, you can make something up. But I do want you to think about the appropriate use of a memo. Memos are typically internal to a workplace. You wouldn't send a memo to a customer, for example. A memo would be to your coworkers. And I've got some examples here. If you can't think of a scenario, these are things that you might see a memo about in workplaces. So you can feel free to, make up a scenario here, and write about a place that doesn't really exist. Big part of this assignment is making sure that you use memo format. It is a real honest to goodness thing that people use in the workplace, and you want it to look like a memo. So I'm going to kind of show you some things about the formatting, but big part of this assignment is learning the formatting. So I'm not going to tell you everything that you need to know. The second item that should be in your portfolio is an email to your boss. So again, this could be a real boss or it could be an imaginary boss if you do not have a current job. The topic can be any of these, and of course, again, you can make something up if needed. But I do encourage you to use something along these lines, asking for time off, informing them of a problem, suggesting something that would benefit the company, reporting customer complaints, or providing an update. Again, this is an email, but it is a formal piece of communication with your supervisor. And so you want to think about how that's going to impact your style, your purpose, your audience, all that awareness. The next item, and you can use me if you really want to, or another faculty member if you would prefer not to deal with workplace. If you want to do it more with school, that's fine. You can definitely do that. This, by the way, does not have to be an email that's real or sent, but it could be if you wanted to. The next item is a text message. And of course, a text message you typically do not write up in Microsoft Word. I understand that. So you can create the text message in Word and just share it. Or if you prefer and you have the availability to do so, if you are using real text messages in a professional capacity, whether it be with your faculty, your teachers, your bosses, your coworkers, any of those things, you can use that. You could even do a screenshot of that and include it in the portfolio. But you can also just type it in if need be. Keep in mind that this is a professional text message. I'm not going to say much more about that. Okay. You also will need 2 business letters, and they have a little bit of a different purpose, so you want to pay special attention to those. They need to be formatted as formal business letters, and I will tell you that some of the sample business letters that you see online are not up to business format standards. So again, part of this assignment is figuring that out. So make sure that you do all the things. And it mentions them here. All conventions of business letters, including addresses, dates, salutations, paragraphing, and the closing must be followed. So there you go. Business letter 1 needs to be about an issue that you would like to see addressed either at Lake Sumter or at your current job. Do the research needed to figure out to whom this letter should be addressed. That is very important. If you just address a letter about something at Lake Sumter in your math class to the president of the college, that is not the appropriate person to be addressing that issue to. So define the problem, suggest solutions, and make sure that you are addressing it to a real human being that is the right human being who could tackle the problem. So use names, use real people, do the research. Business letter 2, also an issue that you would like to see addressed, but this one needs to be more public. So something maybe in your neighborhood, in your city, or in Florida. It could be the state of Florida. Again, do the research needed to figure out to whom this letter should be addressed. Do not just assume it's the mayor of your town or the governor. If you were writing about something in your neighborhood, for example, if you where you live is part of a HOA, it could be the HOA president. But again, you need to be addressing this to a person. Neither one of these letters have to be sent for real life, as Bluey always says. But they could be. These could be real things that you have concerns about, and you could actually use them. But follow, again, all of the rules and regulations for business communication. And finally, 2 social media posts. And again, you could do screenshots where it's really on your social media, or you could create it within the Word document. Social media post one, you've accepted a new job and you want to announce it on your LinkedIn profile. Write a paragraph that would be appropriate to post on this professional social media platform. And then the second one, you are participating in a community service event and want to send out a professional message about it. Please specify what platform or platforms you would use to do this, as well as providing the text of the post. Feel free to include photo or video. If you, for example, would put this out on Instagram, there may not be a lot of text. It might be a photo. So whatever is the appropriate information. And you can embed a photo or a video in a Word document. So if you want to do a real looking thing, you can certainly do it. If you want to, if it's something you're going to do on TikTok, now that we have that back for at least a little while, it could be that. It could be anything. Okay. So those are the elements. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 items that are going to be in your document. And I am going to open another document here to show you what it will look like. My computer will participate. It is slow today. It's like it's Monday. I don't want to do this. I've been quiet all weekend and now I'm being futzy. It's still loading. Sorry, guys. Okay. Nope. What did it just do? Oh, sorry. It's jumping between things. Let me try this again. Let's go to Okay, I'm going to pause the recording while I try to get this thing open, and then I will be right back. All right, we are back, and I need to reshare. So let me do that. This document I will share with you. So you can use this as kind of a template if you so desire. This is set up in the way that your writing portfolio should be set up. So let me change the view a little bit so we can see it a little better. Let's do page width. All right. So I'm going to add a space there. You do want to make sure that it is APA style. All of our documents are APA. So it should have a cover page, title, your name, the Department of English, the college, the course, me, and of course the date. This date, of course, will change. Let's see, this assignment is due, I think it's February 2nd. Yeah, it is. So let's change this, and I'll save this for you guys. February 2nd, 2025. Went back to the 1900s there for a second. So this is what your cover page will look like. And then you should see a table of contents. Now, here's the thing with tables of contents. If you are using Microsoft Word's formatting, this is very easy. If you are trying to do this manually, it is very difficult. So when you create a new document for your portfolio, you want to use what's called a heading. So you will notice that memorandum here it's big, it's bold. If we go back to the home slide, you will also see that it is heading 1. And we want to use that because when you create a table of contents, it automatically reads those headings and creates the table of contents for you. So again, you can just use this one I will show you how to add one at the end, but this is the memo, and I do kind of give you a little preview of what a memorandum looks like. So, take that for what it is. Then we should have our professional email. And again, notice there's a heading here. It is actually formatted as a heading. And then we would have the professional text. Again, there's the heading. Now, the next two items will be the business letters. So the business letters, I would have the business letter on its own page so that it is fully formatted like a business letter. So let me show you how to add that. And I'm going to take this back off. I'm going to save this now, and then I'm going to take it back off because learning how to do this is part of the assignment. So we're going to hit enter, and we're going to insert a page break, at which point we are going to put business letter 1 as a heading. And then if you want to do a little brief description of it, letter to Joe Smith about parking, whatever. Okay. So we have our little kind of preview of it. And then you can start the business letter on the next page. So again, we're going to insert a page break, and then you would have the fully formatted business letter on its own page. The only reason I say that you might want to do that with the business letters is because the business letters typically do take up the whole page. And so having the heading on top of it and then that below could be difficult to fit everything in. So you can feel free to do that if you so desire. This is where your first letter will go and on down the line. So every time you add something new, remember you want to use heading number 1. And then you'll notice when we come back up here to the table of contents, when I click on this, I can update it. So it says table of contents, update table. It's going to ask me if I want to do the whole table, and I do. And you'll notice that now business letter 1 is added, and I didn't have to manually tell it what page it was on or anything. So these will expand or contract to have as much room as you need. But if you're using the headings, this will always work. Now, let me show you how to add the table of contents in case you don't know, although figuring it out is a big part of it. But let's say this wasn't here. In fact, let me just remove it. Oh, it hurts me to do that. We're going to insert, and we're going to use, oh wait, I think it's under reference. It is. It's under references, table of contents, and we're going to add, I'm just going to use the first one, and you notice it pops right back in, and it looks exactly the same because that's what I'd used before. So for the table of contents, it will be under references, add table of contents, and it will update as long as you update it each time, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So this is a big one because it's skills that we've not probably used that much. So it's why we're doing it in professional and technical writing. It is a big feature of professional writing. So good luck with it. If you have questions about it, of course, during the week, please do not hesitate to reach out. I will share that document with you along with, of course, this video. Everybody take care. Have a great day.